live stream. Okay, is that happening? Okay, looks like I think we're in business. So welcome, Elaine. Welcome to anyone else who's watching this on the live stream or on a recording. Title of today's session is going to allow your life to be truly bountiful. So yeah, let's dive into on the Roman poet Ovid. On that. So that'll kick it off nicely, and then that'll lead us into today's lesson, which is lesson 109, one of my favorite lessons. I rest in God. Okay, so let me just share my screen with you. Okay, can you see the screen, Elaine?
Yes.
Great. So you can read that quote.
Yeah.
That's a very simple quote from the Roman poet Ovid, who was one of the best poets of his time.
Yeah. Take rest. A field that has rested gives beautiful crop.
Gives a bountiful crop.
Oh, yeah. A bountiful crop.
Bountiful means abundant, means
yeah. Oh, yes, yeah. Mm-hmm.
field that is rested gives a bountiful crop, which any farmer will tell you. You know, if you keep using the same land over and over, the crop yield's going to decrease. So they rest land and they rotate crops and they do all that kind of thing. Because it needs a break. We can't just go on and on and on. So it's a timeless reminder, this quote, to rest from time to time. When we rest, we reconnect with a life force that sustains us and restores and replenishes our energy. Now, if you look at the research, it confirms this. Modern research confirms that top performers in every field of endeavor know how to pulse their energy. So they operate at a high level for relatively short periods of time, and then they rest to recover their strength and energy. I'll give you an example. Roger Federer, the tennis player. So apparently he used to sleep 12 hours a day, which is a long time, but that's the rate. You know, when he was performing, he performed at a very high level. Rested. When I was a professional squash player, you know, you have to learn the hard way. If you don't rest enough, then you get tired, you're fatigued, and your performance suffers. You need to rest, recover, and then you go. And you go with intensity. And what I learned was to train at a high intensity and train. So you go full on, then rest. So pulse your energy, which many people in different fields have discovered. Many other studies show the benefits of resting during the day for short intervals in different ways, ranging from going for a walk to taking a power nap to meditating. There was a study done of workers in a meat processing plant that showed that 4 9-minute breaks, so just 9 minutes, taken at regular intervals throughout the day, improved the worker's productivity significantly. Just 4 short breaks. So less than 40 minutes in the day at intervals. So instead of one long break, they take their lunch break for an hour, they broke it into 4 short breaks. Maybe they probably still had a lunch break, but they structured in 4 shorter breaks. And they didn't lose productivity, they gained productivity. There's also a mountain of evidence showing the profound benefits of regular meditation. Meditation is just resting, just being quiet and still and resting in a deeper awareness in your own mind. Researchers reviewed more than 200 studies of mindfulness, which is just the modern term for the ancient Vipassana meditation practice the Buddha taught, in which you observe your breath and body sensations, and found mindfulness-based therapy was especially effective for reducing stress, for managing anxiety and depression as well. Some of the most promising research has looked at people with depression. Several studies have found, for example, that mindfulness-based cognitive therapy, or MBCT as it's called, can significantly reduce the rate of relapse in people who have had previous major episodes of depression. Mindfulness has also been shown to help with other specific problems like chronic pain, chronic fatigue, addictions like smoking, alcoholism, drug addictions, and so on. Studies have shown that this mindfulness-based therapy, it reduces the level of pain, fatigue, and stress in people with chronic pain. What's more, the research shows that mindfulness-based interventions can also improve our general physical health. They found that mindfulness boosts the immune system, helps people recover more quickly from colds or flu, particularly relevant given the COVID-19 pandemic. But did you hear any of the authorities saying that you should breathe and meditate?
No. I know.
Okay, so one of the most effective ways of doing this is stay calm, do some conscious breathing, do some meditation every day, which of course you have the time to do, given that you're all off work and we've put you into lockdown. So you can't leave your house. What a great opportunity to to meditate, and a great way to calm your mind. But they didn't recommend it. None of them, which is extraordinary given all the research that shows how effective it is at managing stress and helping you recover more quickly from colds or flu. Why wouldn't you do that? But that's the mainstream medical system for you. So these empirical research findings support the benefit of doing 1 or 2 longer meditations every day, as well as resting for short periods regularly throughout the day, to reflect on the daily work population, as Isha recommends you do. So where's all this leading? Well, it's all incorporated in to this program, the Art of Letting Go program. You have longer periods, 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes in the evening, shorter breath breaks, just a few minutes, structured regularly through the day, all incorporated into the program. If you just follow the program, then you're practicing mindfulness-based meditation. You're observing your breath and physical sensations. All of that's included in the guided meditations and the breath breaks they send you every day to help you practice the daily work book lesson. So if you just listen to these, you get all the benefits of mindfulness that research confirms is hugely helpful without having to do anything else. It's all integrated, incorporated into the program, which is why I designed it that way, right? So you don't have to think about this stuff, just do the program and you've got the idea of rest incorporated into your day. You're making it an integral part of your daily life. That's really the trick to this. So it's not, okay, I want to get burnt out and exhausted and then I'll rest, as this lady did. So don't know if you watched the video, listened to the TED Talk, but this was I think she was 30 something at the time, late 20s, early 30s. But in her 20s, she was a very hyperactive, high achiever type, started various businesses and burnt out. She tells a story of where she flew from Sydney to Los Angeles or the other way around, and she just cried the whole way. Just kind of hits a point where, and she didn't really know why she was crying. So she just stopped everything and she went and spent a year with a friend. Hi, Kim. How are you?
Hi, Jono. Hi, Elaine.
Oh, hi, Kim. Hi.
Yeah. Welcome. Glad you can make it. We're just diving into the teaching.
Okay.
So yeah, listen to that. It's really interesting. So she's saying her message really is that busyness is a disease. Disease, right? You're constantly diseased, always busy. The mind's always busy, and this is a disease of the modern world that's destroying our lives, and that we need to incorporate rest into our lives if we're going to be inspiring, sustainable leaders, perform at our peak. If we're going to be functional human beings, we have to rest. It's very simple. We all know we have to sleep, but it's more than just sleep. Getting your 6 or 7 hours of sleep. It's actually taking rest during the day. So for instance, before this, I know that if I don't have a meditation, that I'm gonna start getting tired at about this time in the session, and then I'm slowing down. So I rest, take half an hour, meditate, you refresh yourself, and then you go again. And it's being intelligent about that and saying, well, I'm actually doing the best thing I can possibly do. I'm not slacking off. I'm resting so that I can re-energize myself so that I can perform better when I'm active. And it's just learning to do that and integrate that kind of process into your life, which, as I said, is incorporated into the Art of Letting Go program. If you follow it, doing the meditations in the morning and evening, and then shorter breath breaks during the day, is going to integrate rest into your life. You're going to be getting these periods of deep rest. Same time, you're reflecting on the truth, reminding yourself of these truths, and reinforcing your commitment to them, and practicing forgiveness. If you need to let go of anything, then you let it go in those rest times. So you keep your mind clear, you keep yourself rested, and then you stop, this kind of hyperactive, burnt out overachiever syndrome that she describes in this video, where she just hit the wall and she couldn't continue because she had ignored the signs that she should be resting for so long, that she needed a full kind of year off just to say, well, I just need to rest completely and not work, which is how she got herself back on track. And now she teaches the value of rest. So definitely worth listening to that. That brings us to today's session. We're in it. So let's jump into our lesson, shall we? So we're in lesson 109, I believe. No. Where are we? Let's just go page down. There we go. Rest in God. Okay, so I rest in God, or I rest in perfect love. So do you want to take turns to read that? Kim, maybe you read the original, the first paragraph, and then Elaine read the alternative sentence by sentence. All right, just one moment before we do that. We'll just start the recording. Start another one on the phone. Okay, off we go then. So yeah, start with the idea and the original and alternative, and then just do it sentence by sentence. Okay, Kim, do you want to go?
I rest in God.
I rest in perfect love.
So
Okay.
I'll do the first one. We ask for rest today and quietness unshaken by the world's appearances. We ask,
Yeah.
sorry.
Just one sentence at a time.
Okay.
I ask for rest and quietness, unshaken by the world's appearances today.
We ask for peace and stillness in the midst of all the turmoil born of clashing dreams.
I ask for peace and stillness in the midst of all the turmoil born of clashing dreams.
We ask for safety and for happiness, although we seem to look on danger and on sorrow.
I ask for safety and happiness, although I seem to perceive danger and sorrow.
And we have the thought that will answer our asking with what we request.
And I have the thought that I will answer my asking with what I request. From the top, I ask for rest and quietness, unshaken by the world's appearance today. I ask for peace and stillness in the midst of all the turmoil born of clashing dreams. I ask for safety and happiness, although I seem to receive danger and sorrow. And I have the thought that will answer my asking with what I request. So it's just a nice little paragraph saying, you know, if we ask for this rest and quietness and not be shaken by the world's appearance, then amidst all that, we'll be able to find safety and happiness instead of danger and sorrow. So we just have the thought and the answer on request by our perfect love.
In the midst of all the turmoil born of clashing dreams. So it's a great line. So yeah, so you get all this conflict, clashing dreams. It seems to go on, but in amongst all that, there is this stillness and this peace. And you can find it if you choose to. It's always there. It's always been there. It's just covered over by the turmoil born of clashing dreams. Turmoil, let's say, arising. Turmoil arising from clashing dreams. So it's a reminder that you could use always in every situation. These words are applicable, aren't they?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm in turmoil, my emotions are running high, but in amongst all of this, there is peace and stillness. And this lesson reminds me that it's still there, even if right now I'm not experiencing it. So the words are pointers back to this truth within you, where you'll find safety and happiness, away from the danger and the sorrow you perceive. Because right here, right now, that peace and stillness, that safety and happiness is here now. This is what the lesson's saying. And it's never actually gone away. It's always been there. It's only us who've denied it and invented a world of turmoil and clashing dreams. But all of that, that's the veil of illusion that we've invented that is meant to cover over the peace and the stillness. That is our true nature. That's always been there. And I had that sort of epiphany after 9 days of meditation. It became so obvious to me that that's the case. We have projected this world out from the thought of separation, and all it's designed to do is trigger these clashing dreams, trigger all of this rubbish going on in our minds, so that we cover over the true awareness, pure formless awareness, or the peace and the stillness that are always there, that have always been there. And that's the veil of illusion that covers it over. And the world is designed to perpetuate that covering over. That's why the external form of the illusion, the world, and the inner illusion of a separate self are really just two sides of the same illusory coin. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Happy to move on. Should we go to number 2? Just switch it around. So Elaine, you read the original, Kim read the alternative, and then Kim read the alternative in one paragraph once you've finished.
I rest in God.
I rest in perfect love.
This thought will bring to you the rest and quiet, peace and stillness, and the safety and the happiness you seek.
This thought will bring to me the rest, quiet, peace, stillness, safety, and happiness I yearn for.
I rest in God.
Rest in perfect love.
This thought has the power to wake the sleeping truth in you, whose vision sees beyond appearances to that same truth in everyone and everything there is.
This thought has the power to awaken the sleeping truth in me, whose vision sees beyond appearances, to this same truth in everyone and everything.
Here is the end of suffering for all the world, and everyone who ever came and yet will come to linger for a while.
Here is the end of suffering for the whole world and everyone who ever came and still will come to linger here for a while.
Here is the thought in which the Son of God is born again to recognize himself.
This is the thought in which the extension of perfect love awakens from its dream to recognize itself. And from the top, I rest in perfect love. This thought will bring me the rest, quiet, peace, stillness, safety, and happiness I yearn for. I rest in perfect love. This thought has the power to awaken the sleeping truth in me, whose vision sees beyond appearances, to this same truth in everyone and everything. Here is the end of suffering for the whole world and everyone who ever came and still will come to linger here for a while. This is the thought in which the extension of perfect love awakens from its dream to recognize itself. So what it's saying is that this thought, I rest in God or I rest in perfect love, is to bring or awaken the truth in us, bring us to what we want and what we're working towards, which is that rest, that peace, that quietness, that place of safety and happiness, and the end of suffering. And this is the end of the suffering.
Yeah. If you find peace of mind, it's the end of suffering. Irrespective of what's happening externally. That really doesn't matter. What matters is that you find the truth, which is within you. So very, very, I mean, these lessons are so profound, right? This lesson's the end of suffering, if you really get it. I rest in God, I rest in perfect love. You've just got to learn how to do that. That learning is called forgiveness. That learning is the purpose of this course and the purpose of your life. To learn how to do this. That's the only thing you're here to learn how to do. That's salvation or awakening, as we call it. This is the thought in which the extension of perfect love awakens from its dream. I've translated, the Son of God is born again, to awakens from its dream. That's what it means. To recognize itself. So we come to recognize our true identity, who we really are, and we let go of the illusion of being a separate self. And that's the whole point of our lives and of the dream. That awakening process is salvation is only functional, as it says. Okay. Any other thoughts on that? Questions, comments? We go on. Yeah, switch it again. So Elaine, you read the alternative. Kim, you read the original.
I rest in God.
I rest in perfect love.
Completely undismayed. This thought will carry you through the storms and strife, past misery and pain, past loss and death, and onward to the certainty of God.
Completely undismayed, this thought will carry me through storms and strife, past misery, pain, loss, and death, and onward to the certainty of perfect love.
There is no suffering it cannot heal.
There is no suffering it cannot heal.
There is no problem that it cannot solve.
There is no problem that it cannot solve.
And no appearance but will turn to truth before the eyes of you who rest in God.
And every appearance will turn to truth in my perception, because I rest in perfect love. And from the top, I rest in perfect love, completely undismayed. This thought will carry me through storms and strife, past misery, pain, loss, and death, and onward to the certainty of perfect love. There is no suffering it cannot heal. There is no problem that it cannot solve. And every appearance will turn to truth in my perception, because I rest in perfect love. And another nice paragraph, just saying that if we rest in this perfect love, then it'll carry us through everything, from pain, through life's storms and death, and to this, if we're and on to this perfect love, there's just no suffering that it cannot heal, and no problem it can't solve. Everything will turn to truth once we rest in perfect love.
Yeah, very, very profound. You can sort of take these things for granted. You've studied the Course for years. Yeah, okay, yeah. I mean, just look at what he's saying. He's saying this is the end of suffering, which is the only problem we really have. Separation, which causes all the suffering, is the only problem we really have. So this solves all problems. There's no problem it cannot solve, right? Because there's only one problem really, which is the idea that you're separate from perfect love. So the answer, the solution, is to rest in perfect love again. And then everything is healed. Every appearance turns to truth. And this does work. You know, the cynics will go, oh, you know, this is rubbish. But if you try it and you actually apply what he's saying, you see that it does work. And that's, you know, that working out is the miracle that he talks about. Miraculous solution to all the problems of separation is to realize that they're simply not real. That's the way out of it. And when you realize they're not real, you rest in perfect love. So let's have a look at this diagram again. Where are we? No. So symbolize in diagram form what we're being asked to do here is look on the chaos and the turmoil of clashing dreams and whatever's going on here, guilt and sin and fear and attack and all of its manifestations, and remind ourselves that actually pure formless awareness of perfect love, God, is still there. That this awareness is still there and it's present right here, right now in our awareness. And we go into that awareness despite all of these appearances. That's forgiveness. Then you ride the blue arrow from being attached to the dream, interpreting it as real, getting lost in all these thoughts and emotions, and you ride it back. So why it's double-sided arrow, because you're perceiving it differently. You say, no, I'm going to let this go, and I'm going to return my mind to pure formless awareness of perfect love in this moment. And then you learn that this is actually still there, this is true, but you've learned it not just theoretically, you've learned it experientially. And that's much more powerful. So forgiveness is the experiential learning of truth. Say that again. Forgiveness or letting go is the experiential learning of truth. And you have to do that in order to really learn the truth, because it's not just a nice theory. You actually have to feel it, know it at a very deep level, and then live it in every situation, that you can actually ride this blue arrow back home to this pure formless awareness of perfect love, which is infinitely peaceful, and let go of your mind's interpretation of an attachment to what's going on in the dream world. Okay. I'm happy to go on to number 4.
Yeah.
All right, just switch it again.
Yeah. This is the day of peace.
This is a day of peace.
You rest in God. Just pinch that out. And while the world is torn by winds of hate, your rest remains completely undisturbed.
I rest in perfect love. While the world is torn by winds of hate, my rest remains completely undisturbed.
Yours is the rest of truth.
The rest of truth is mine.
Appearances cannot intrude on you.
Appearances cannot disturb my peace.
You call to all to join you in your rest, and they will hear and come to you because your rest is God.
I call to everyone to join me in my rest, and they will hear and come to me because I rest in perfect love.
They will not hear another voice than yours, because you gave your voice to God, and now you rest in him and let him speak through you.
They will not hear another voice than mine, because I gave my voice to perfect love, and now I rest in it and let it speak through me.
Okay, from the top, Kim, and the alternative.
This is a day of peace. I rest in perfect love, and while the world is torn by winds of hate, my rest remains completely undisturbed. The rest of truth is mine. Appearances cannot disturb my peace. I call to everyone to join me in my rest, and they will hear and come to me because I rest in perfect love. They will not hear another voice than mine, because I gave my voice to perfect love, and now I rest in it and let it speak through me. Well, it talks about this is a day of peace. There's a turbulence that's out there in the world. However, I remain undisturbed. As I rest in the truth, any appearances, any illusion cannot disturb my peace. Then I call on everyone to join me. I'm just wondering how, by projecting light or peace, or just being peaceful amongst people.
Yeah, so you're doing it in your mind. In this lesson, you're saying, no, I'm calling on everyone, I invite everyone into the same peace. Everyone deserves the same peace of mind, peace of God, and I wish that for everyone. You know, that's an intention, that's a prayer, if you like, that heals your own mind. You're saying, you know, extend that to the world. It doesn't mean that everyone's suddenly going to become peaceful, because they have their own journeys and their own egos to confront and let go of. But in the extension of this, you are healing your own mind, you understand? By extending peace You're saying, I believe in this peace. This peace is all I want. It's all, I know that this is all that anyone really needs. And you stop trying to fix them and heal the world in inappropriate ways. And the only way is to help people find this peace. And when they find the peace, then their circumstances won't matter. We're never going to fix all of the broken circumstances of this world. That's never going to happen. But everyone can find peace irrespective of their circumstances. That is possible. So this is the answer to every prayer. This is the answer to all suffering. It's the answer to the problem of, the human life, of pain, suffering, limitation, lack, scarcity, aging, sickness, and death. This is the answer. So you're just kind of wishing that answer on everyone, saying, this is the answer, and I wish everyone finds it. Does that make sense, Kim?
Yeah, so I mean, if you're practicing it in your mind, I was imagining how you do it out there, applying what is said in this paragraph.
Oh, well, if you feel called to, you might speak to someone, you might write something and post it on social media, but that's secondary. Remember, the Course is never asking us to do anything. It's just asking us to change our mind. So I call to everyone is in your own mind. You're saying, hey, I'm calling to everyone in my mind to awaken to the same peace. I'm inviting them into it. It's a prayer, if you like, wishing that everyone find this peace. And this is what world peace really means. You're never going to find world peace any other way. But by every person going into the peace that lies within them and choosing that over the ego. So he's saying, they will not hear another voice than mine, because I gave my voice to perfect love, and I'll rest in it and let it speak through me. So you become aligned with this voice of perfect love, which is the voice for perfect love in this world is the Holy Spirit. And you rest in its awareness and you let it speak through you. So it takes charge of your words, of your actions, of everything you express in this world is now expressed from the foundation of perfect love. And you become the avatar, the awakened one who just channels the perfect loving awareness and expresses it in the world. And that, that's going to look different for everyone. For some people, it's going to be on a very small scale. Others, like Yeshua, it's world-changing. What he did was extraordinarily world-changing, powerful, profound, and we feel its benefits 2,000 years later. But not everyone is called on to do, to do it at that level. Just depends. You just follow the guidance in your life. That's all you have to do. And it will tell you what to do and where to go and what to say and when to say it. And then you live in the domain of the miraculous. Then you're living in flow, as we call it in modern psychology. It's the same thing. Synchronicity, Carl Jung called it flow. Domain of the miraculous, miracles. Wu Wei in the Taoism it's called Wu Wei. Doesn't really matter what language you use. It's all the same. All right.
Can I ask a question around that? Like, if you feel that someone's really, your perception, or someone's really wronged you, and you're in this conflict with that person, and there's a bit of, there's also anger in oneself, and there's anger with them. And you find this rest in God. How do you see that playing out? Or you asked to find this rest in God. How do you see that playing out?
Well, it plays out in different ways depending on the circumstances. So there's no one answer. But if you find this genuine peace and this genuine rest, then you will be guided as to what to say and do. I had a very sticky situation 2 days ago, just not in a good space. Talked to John, just reminded me, do the 10-step process. I'm like, yeah, okay. And it's the process I came up with. But I need to be told to do it, so I did it. And I let go. And so there was a peace that entered. By the end of the day, I was like, okay, whatever, none of this really matters. And I rest in God. I rest in this peace. I actually used this lesson. I rest in God. So I'm resting in this peaceful awareness. It's all okay. And let's see what tomorrow brings. There was no intention to try and fix anything on the level of form, to take any action. It was just, okay, well, I'm just going to rest in this awareness and let's see what happens. And then on the level of form, certain things happened that were very helpful and all unfolded, miraculously. And there was a healing and peace spread from my mind to the other person's mind. And it was one of the better days of my life and marriage. So there you go. But I didn't direct how it should look on the level of form. I think the problem, Kim, is when we start saying, well, how does that look? Then you're back in the ego. You see, you say, I want a form outcome. I want to know how this is going to be, how this is going to be solved, and give me the practical steps. And no, the first thing to do is just let it go and find this peace that surpasses all understanding, as Paul called it. We'll be familiar with that from the Catholic tradition, the peace of God that surpasses all understanding. Cool. So you find that, and then you trust. Okay, well, show me. I don't know how it's all going to look on the level of form, but I don't have to know. That's going to unfold moment by moment. If I rest in this peace, from this peaceful awareness, I will be directed. And so then the Holy Spirit shows us what to do, and gives us the guidance. So here, we looked at this earlier, Workbook Lesson 365. We read this, but we'll read it again. So read it, Kim, because this is the answer. This is where he leaves you, right? It's the last lesson that's repeated 5 times.
Okay. This holy instant would I give to you. Be you in charge, for I would follow you, certain that your direction gives me peace.
Okay. So it's a letting go, it's a surrender, and saying, I don't know the direction, but I'm certain that your direction will give me peace, you see? So instead of saying, well, where am I going and how's it all going to work? You let go and you let yourself be guided. A bit like sat nav. These days we trust sat nav, and you go, okay, I'll put it on, and all I have to do is follow the guidance, right? It's going to tell me when to turn left, when to turn right, what to do. And if I follow the guidance step by step, moment by moment, I'll get to my destination. But I don't have to know now what's going to happen in half an hour's time down the road. I don't have to know that. I just have to do what it tells me to do now. So this is the mindset that he's helping us to learn, and practice, and stay in through this course. And then he goes on, read the rest. And if I need a word, read the rest, Kim.
And if I need a word to help me, you will give it to me. If I need a thought, that will you also give. And if I need but stillness and a tranquil, open mind, these are the gifts I will receive of him. He is in charge by my request, and he will hear and answer me, because he speaks for God my Father and his Holy Son.
Yeah. Translated, if you want to look at the translation, I can bring that up for you quickly. So might be helpful. But what is he saying? He's saying, well, everything is going to come from this from this awakened presence, right? You don't have to worry about what you need to do or say, because it'll come out of this awareness. Rather big, I'm not quite sure why. .363, where are we? There we go. So read it in the Elaine, why don't you read it in the alternative?
Yeah. I am wholly aware now, in every moment. I allow my true self to be in charge, and I follow only its guidance, knowing that it brings me peace.
Yeah, which is maybe a little bit better than this holy instance, what I give to you. You know, it's like, I'm just aware now. And I allow this awareness, this true self, I call it, to be in charge. Follow its guidance, knowing that it brings me peace. And then it tells us, and yeah, remember, it's a perfect love will give me the words. I'll read that paragraph.
Remembrance of perfect love will give me the words I need to help me, to also give me a thought whenever I need one. And if I need only stillness and a tranquil, open mind, these are the gifts I will receive from it. It is in charge by my request, and it will hear and answer me because it speaks for pure formless awareness of perfect love, my source and its innocent extension.
Yeah, so remember, this is the last lesson of the course that he's giving us. Saying, okay, well, just give it all over, hand it all over to the spirit, and trust this process. That's what surrender means. Okay, so I'm not in control anymore. I don't know how it's going to pan out, but I do know that this awareness and this peace is all I want. And if this is directing things, then I'm in good hands. That my life is going to go in the right direction. And I do this willingly. It's not like anyone's forcing me or coercing me. I willingly let go of my own control because I realize how dysfunctional that control is. It doesn't work. That control has just hurt me over and over in my life. So instead, I'm going to give it up. I'm going to let go and I'm going to trust. And then moment by moment, it's going to show you. So that's why he never gives us specifics. You know, we don't have specific rules of behavior and so on in the course. But he's saying you hand it over to this awareness, and this awareness will guide you in every situation, every circumstance that you encounter. You will be told by this awareness what to say, what to do, where to go, how to handle the situation. And so it's really empowering. You know, this is like, I never need to worry because this awareness, this guidance is always with me, and it's always going to give me the guidance no matter what seems to be happening in my dream. And that's the basis then for a quiet self-confidence that's unshaken by all the world's appearances. Then you've built your house on the foundation of rock, as Yeshua says in the parable, rather than the shifting sands of time and space. So does that answer your question, Tim? It's a letting go, and it's a trusting that what needs to happen on the level of form will happen as and when it should happen, and you'll be guided to do and say whatever you need to do. But it has to start with your peace of mind. If your mind is in turmoil and there's no peace, then the Holy Spirit is not there, the ego is in charge, and your thoughts, words, and actions will be directed by it rather than by the Holy Spirit. Okay, let's go back to lesson then. All right, so where are we? We've done number 4, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go on to number 5. In him you have no cares, no concerns, no burdens, no anxiety. So can't remember whose turn it is to read which, but one of you go read the original and then the alternative, which I'll scroll down to.
In him you have no cares and no concerns, no burdens, no anxiety, no pain, no fear of future, and no past regrets.
In pure formless awareness of perfect love, I have no cares, no concerns, no burdens, no anxiety, no pain, no fear of future, and no past regrets.
In timelessness, you rest while time goes by without its touch upon you, for your rest can never change in every way at all.
In any way, yeah.
I rest in the timeless now, while time passes without touching me, for my rest can never change in any way at all.
Yeah, and that's really profound. You rest in this and that rest remains. Time doesn't affect it at all. When you really start to get this, then you realize that you're untouchable, that whatever happens in time and space doesn't matter at all. And this peace is a given. This peace is yours and it can never be disturbed. And only your reaction to illusions can disturb it. But it's a choice. You don't have to react to illusions. You can just let them go and remind yourself that you rest in God instead, which is what he's suggesting we do. Okay, so number 3. Let's read number 3 and 4 because 3 is really short.
Rest today, and as you close your eyes, sink into stillness.
I rest today, and as I close my eyes, I sink into stillness.
Let these periods of rest and respite reassure your mind that all its frantic fantasies were but the dreams of fever that has passed away.
I let these periods, I'll just pinch that out, periods of rest and respite reassure my mind that all its frantic fantasies are just the dreams of fever that has passed away.
Let it be still and thankfully accept its healing.
I let it be still and thankfully accept its healing.
No more fearful dreams will come now that you rest in God.
Now that I rest in perfect love, no more fearful dreams will come to me.
Take time today to slip away from the dreams and into peace.
I will take time today to slip away from dreams and into peace. And from the top, in pure formless awareness of perfect love, I have no cares, no concerns, no burdens, no anxiety, no pain, no fear of the future, and no past regrets. I rest in the timeless now, while time passes without touching me, for my rest can never change in any way at all. I rest today, and as I close my eyes, I sink into stillness. I let these periods of rest and respite reassure my mind that all its frantic fantasies are just the dreams of fever that was passed away. I let it be still and thankfully accept its healing. Now that I rest in perfect love, no more fearful dreams will come to me. I will take time today to slip away from dreams and into peace. So it's just saying in this pure formless awareness, there's no cares, no anxiety, no past or future fears or regrets. So just being in this timeless now, time passes and it doesn't touch us. And so if we rest today, just close our eyes into this, sink into this stillness, and let the rest reassure our mind of all these frantic fantasies and dreams which have passed away. And so we let the stillness be accepted for its healing. And we just take the time to slip away from these dreams into this eternal peace.
Well summarized, beautiful. Really simple. You're saying but you must make that time. Because if you keep allowing the ego time and space in your mind, and you don't make these times where you quiet your mind and you rest in the stillness and peace, then how are you ever going to learn it? How are you ever going to know that this is the truth if you never experience it? Which is why meditation is so important. It's just sitting still and resting in peace. That's what meditation is. And there's various tools that allow you to do that, whether you're using breath or using a mantra, whatever the tool is, it's designed to help you just rest in your true awareness, resting in God, resting in peace. That's what meditation is. So whenever you make the time to meditate, you're saying, okay, I choose to rest in God, instead of be caught up with the cares and concerns of the world. Yeah, so Kim, if you can just read, that's one of the illustrations that Elaine has kindly provided. Thank you, Elaine, again. Just kind of saying it in another way, really.
I'm reading this.
Yeah.
Sorry.
What you see on the screen, yeah. Lesson 109, I rest in God, and then whatever's below.
Okay, sorry, John, I'm just a bit confused. Is this like a middle part and then they've got the rest of the paragraphs, or?
No, so this is an inserted image. So
Okay.
Elaine, there's a teacher who's done these illustrations, which are kind of commentaries on the lesson.
Okay.
Illustrated that I've incorporated because I think they have quite a lot of value. They just get you to see it from a different perspective.
Yeah.
Reflect. I've stuck it in the middle here just because there's a space here, right? But if I put the other
Okay.
on the next page, there's gonna be a whole lot of white space.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Got it now. Right. Okay. So I just need to read from the top to the bottom, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. I rest in God. In Him, you have no cares and no concerns, no burdens, no anxiety, no pain, no fear of future, and no past regrets. We all yearn to find quiet rest in a place of true safety, away from turmoil. Even better is resting in the arms of a loved one who is safe and strong. Our rest in God takes this to its furthest extreme. It calls us to rest in the arms of one who is the ultimate safety and strength, and we rest in Him, completely surrounded by Him. He becomes our sanctuary. where the winds of hate outside cannot touch us, since this sanctuary is all that is real.
Okay, so thoughts on that?
Yeah, it feels like, you've got these big arms coming to take you in, and take away all the suffering and concerns and angst and pain and fear and all the horrible, negative, crappy things.
Hmm.
And you feel this safe and whole and love.
That's why we use the analogy, you rest in the arms of God. Well, obviously, God doesn't have arms. God isn't human.
Mm.
It feels like that. We can sort of associate it. If you've ever had a really nice hug and you've really felt comforted and like, okay, that's really nice. I'm feeling safe again because this person's holding me in their arms. This takes it to another level. This is like resting in the ultimate awareness that is completely peaceful. That's completely transcends all illusions. None of those illusions matter at all in this peace. And that's what it means to rest in God. And then how it looks on the level of form, you don't have to worry about that when you're resting in God, you see. The whole point is don't worry about that. It's a complete letting go of all of that concern, saying, well, I don't know and I don't care because none of it matters. And the ego will say, oh my God, this is dangerous. You've got to be in control. What's going to happen if you don't have a plan? Then you're planning to fail. It's all going to go to shit. Do my French, but that's what it tells you. And you need to stress. You need to worry. You need to, because this is effective. This is going to help you. And of course, it's all lies. It's not going to help you. It's going to make the separate self real. It's going to entrench the pain and the suffering, and you just get caught up in that. Only God resting in this pure formless awareness of perfect love is going to help you. And once you've done that and you've gone there, even for a moment, then you invited that to come in and to heal your perception. And you might change your mind about something. And you change your thoughts, you change your words, you change your actions, then the miracle unfolds. But in the moment of resting in God, that's not your concern. You just rest in God. There's nothing else to do. Nowhere else to go, nothing else to think about. Why I use that phraseology in some of the meditations. Just rest. When we go into that deep rest in a meditation, nothing else to do. You're not planning, you're not strategizing, you're not thinking about the past or the future. You're just resting in this awareness. And that's complete peace. There's nothing to do, there's nowhere to go. You just rest in your true awareness. That's what it means. So a really, really powerful lesson. Very powerful. So simple. Rest in God. I'll tell you a funny story. So Robert Holden, he's quite a well-known course teacher in the UK. He was giving a talk at a Course in Miracles conference, and he was talking about how the ego makes you forget the lessons. And he used this lesson as an example. He said, the other day I was trying to remember the lesson, and it's so simple, right? It's 4 simple words. I rest in God. Like, who could forget that? But he said, I couldn't remember it. I rest in, I rest, and the ego just wouldn't allow him to remember the whole lesson, because it doesn't want you to rest in God, so it wants you to forget the lesson. So the best tool for not doing that is just forget the lesson, forget the words, so you forget to practice, and then you don't rest in God. You allow the ego and all of its rubbish to go on in your mind. It perpetuates the ego. Okay, so any other thoughts or comments on that? Lovely little commentary. Thanks again, Elaine, for that. Okay, so let's read on to number 6. We'll finish this and then we'll do a meditation. So one of you read the original. I think it's Elaine's turn.
Oh, each hour that you take your rest today, the tired mind is suddenly made glad. A bird with broken wings begins to sing. A stream long dry begins to flow again.
Each hour that I rest today, the tired mind is suddenly made happy. A bird with broken wings begins to sing, and a stream long dry begins to flow again.
The world is born again. Each time you rest and hourly remember that you came to bring the peace of God into the world, that it might take its rest along with you.
The world is awakened each time I rest, and hourly remember that I came to bring the peace of perfect love into the world so that it might take its rest along with me.
And then from the top.
Each hour that I rest today, a tired mind.
Sorry, I just managed to delete the whole paragraph.
I'll start again. Each hour that I rest today, a tired mind is suddenly made happy. A bird with broken wings begins to sing, and a stream long, dry, begins to flow again. The world is awakened each time I rest, and hourly remember that I came to bring the peace of perfect love into the world so that it might rest along with me. So as I'm resting and I'm find the happiness and things start to flow, each time I do rest, then the world is awakened and remembers that I brought the peace of perfect love to it. So I can also have this rest and be happy and flow.
Yeah, and you start extending this just by taking the time to meditate and into that state. You are affecting everyone. Now that may not seem obvious, but research shows this. You know, they did that research in 1992 when they had a conference of transcendental meditators in Washington for about 4,000 TM practitioners and teachers descended on Washington, D.C. And they wanted to measure the impact of that on the whole city's awareness. And on the obvious way to measure that was through the crime rate. So they approached the police department. They said, look, can we get the crime stats from previous years during this period? And the police department said, yeah, okay, this is all fine. What are you doing? So no, we're monitoring the impact of 4,000 people meditating for hours a day for, I think it was 4 weeks, 6 weeks. It was quite a long period of time. 6-week period in June and July of 1992. And what they found was that the crime rate, unexpectedly, well, they expected, the police department were baffled, decreased by 25% over that period compared with the average of previous years. And there was no apparent reason for that. The weather hadn't changed. It was just a fairly normal summer, same kinds of temperatures. Nothing else had happened. There were no other events. It was like, well, what else explains that crime suddenly drops by 25%, which is a very statistically significant drop. It's not a random drop, not just by a few percentage points. It's like a huge drop over that period. Why is that? The only explanation, I think that was majorly different from previous years. There was a conference of transcendental meditators, transcendental meditation going on at the time. And they were holding this peace for everyone in the city, and that peace then spread and extended to other people in the city, and the crime rate dropped as a result because people were less inclined to think negative thoughts and less inclined to violent acts and doing unkind things because of the field of peace that these meditators created in the whole city. So there's, evidence of it on quite a mass scale. The other good experiment in this was the peace experiment done by Lynn McTaggart. I don't know if you know about that. So 2009, they wanted to do an experiment on, whether setting intention for peace held by, I think about 10,000 people participated worldwide, if that could affect world events. So they picked a conflict that was going on at the time in Sri Lanka. There was a civil war going on that had been going on for years. Didn't seem to be any end to it. And they went, okay, we're gonna hold the intention of peace for that region. And they meditated on it every day for I think it was like an hour or something. These 10,000 people met. I think it was the days before Zoom, but they somehow coordinated it. And amazingly, in the week after they met, suddenly the violence intensified. The government forces went on the offensive against the rebels. The fighting intensified. They were going, well, hang on, that shouldn't be happening. But that was the beginning of the end for the rebels. That push then over the course of the next 9 months led to the ending of the war. In May of the following year, the war ended finally after it was something like 10 or 20 years it had been going on. And the change originated the week after this peace experiment went on. Now, is that an accident? Skeptics will say that was just coincidence, but was it? Maybe they connected. And given what we understand about the power of the mind, the power of a collective consciousness, I don't think it was an accident. That intention that they set for peace somehow affected world events, affected the outcome of that war, and it was directed to a peaceful resolution eventually. Peace came. If they hadn't done that, would the war have carried on for years? Yes, quite possibly so. So there are two examples of how this works in practice. Obviously, on an individual level, you can't always see it in world events, but you can see it in your direct experience of the world. You can see it in your relationships. You can see it in your interactions with other people. It does change things. There's no doubt. So he's inviting us to step into this peace and experience that for ourselves. Saying, don't believe me. Just do this, practice it, meditate, do the lessons frequently, step into the peace and see what happens. And then he says, with each 5 minutes that you rest today. So let's read this and then actually practice this. We'll go into a meditation. I think this is the final paragraph. Yeah, no, not quite the final paragraph. Still quite three paragraphs to go. All right, so let's just read this in the alternative. It's pretty. There isn't really much to translate. So one of you read that.
Yeah. With each 5 minutes, oops, trying to pinch it up. That's better. With each 5 minutes that I rest today, the world is nearer awakening, and the time when rest will be the only thing there is comes closer to all worn and tired minds, too weary now to go their way alone. And they will hear the bird begin to sing and see the stream begin to flow again, with hope reborn and energy restored to walk with lightened steps along the road that suddenly seems easy as they go.
Yeah. Reiterating what he said in the previous paragraph.
Yeah.
And the bird singing, the stream beginning to flow. hope reborn, energy restored. These are just symbols in the dream of this awakening. And so you walk with lightened steps along the road. It suddenly seems easy as they go. So you relieve yourself of all the stickiness of the ego, all the burdens of the mind, and then suddenly it's, hey, I'm actually quite light and free, and it's all okay. And that's the miracle. When that happens, that's the miracle. So miracles are just shifts in your perception, and they can happen at any point. In fact, they should be happening daily. If you're getting stuck in the ego, then you need the miracle to correct and free your mind. The miracle is just a correction. And then that's just reiterated in the image. You see the light shining through, and all these beings. You see these creatures. You know, it's saying that this extends to every sentient being. Let's use nature because that's what Yeshua's used, the analogy of nature. The bird begin to sing, see the stream begin to flow again. Nature can bring us back to this awareness quite effectively. You go into nature and you just quiet your mind, and you see that actually everything's not so bad. Why? It's one of the great healing tools. You leave the busyness of a city, of a town, with all of the mind-created structures and activities of the ego, and you go into nature, and it's much easier to rest in God, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like, well, it's just peaceful, it's quiet. And there's activity, but it's a very kind of slow, gentle, quiet activity most of the time. And you look at a stream, and the stream's just flowing, and you connect with the stillness that underlies all of it. And you know, this is what he's referring to, and using this as an analogy to help us see that the world will change as you change within. So Kim, if you can just read that slide again, it's worth reading again.
Bring everyone into the boundless circle of your peace, the holy sanctuary where you rest. And they will hear the bird begin to sing and see the stream begin to flow again, with hope reborn and energy restored, to walk with lightened steps along the road that suddenly seems easy as they go.
So he's talking about the enlightened state. You know, this is the real world where you live in grace, everything is light. That's why it's called enlightenment. So it's still a lighter state of being, walking carefree through a world of difficulty, pain, misery, suffering, and death. And you walk carefree through it because you're not affected by any of it, because you have the peace of God that underlies it all. Okay, so brings us leads nicely into number 8. You rest within the peace of God today. And one of you read that, and the other one read the alternative.
You rest within the peace of God today, and call upon your brothers from your nest to draw them to their rest along with you.
No, it's rest, not rest.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, yes, I needed to make it a bit bigger.
Yeah, well, that's a Freudian slip because we were talking about birds and stuff. So that's why.
Yeah.
Birds nest. They rest in their nest.
Yeah.
Okay.
I rest within the peace of perfect love today, and call on everyone from our rest to draw them to their rest along with me.
You will be faithful. You You will be faithful to your trust today, forgetting no one, bringing everyone into the boundless circle of your peace, the holy sanctuary where you rest.
I will be faithful to my mission today, forgetting no one, bringing everyone into the boundless circle of my peace, the holy aware sanctuary where I rest.
Open the temple doors and let them come from far across the world and near as well, your distant brothers and your closest friends. Bid them all enter here and rest with you.
I will open my mind and let them come from far across the world and near as well. I ask both seeming strangers and my closest friends to enter here and rest with me. From the top, I rest within the peace of perfect love today and call on everyone from my rest to draw them to their rest along with me. I will be faithful to my mission today, forgetting no one, bringing everyone into the boundless circle of my peace, the holy aware sanctuary where I rest. I will open my mind and let them come from across the world and near as well. I ask both seeming strangers and my closest friends to enter here and rest with me. So what it's saying is, I'm resting in the peace of God, so I'm going within and resting, and I'm calling everyone to rest with me.
Yeah.
Whether it's just emphasizing it from people that we know to people that we don't know, the whole earth, creatures, just extending it to everyone. It's limitless.
Yeah. The open temple doors is opening my mind. And this is all just happening internally. You're not doing anything. Just doing this in your own mind. But this is where the change needs to take place. It's in your thoughts. It's in your awareness. And then it will extend out naturally. You do this and it extends to all the world because you connect it to everyone. Your mind isn't separate from anyone. So your peaceful awareness radiates out to the whole. And that can have very profound, miraculous benefits, which you can't know what the benefits are going to be. You just do it because it feels good, and then things unfold accordingly. That's the flow, right? You're not in control anymore. You've let go, and you trust it that this peace will extend, and this will direct things in the right way. And it does work. You've just got to practice it and apply it. Okay, so last paragraph, just to close it out, and then we'll do a meditation. Okay, one of you can read the original, other read the alternative.
We rest within the peace of God today, quiet and unafraid. Each brother comes to take his rest and offer it to you.
One at a time, Kim.
Okay.
I rest within the peace of perfect love today, quiet and unafraid. Everyone comes to rest and offer it to me.
We rest together here, for thus our rest is made complete. And what we give today, we have received already.
We rest together here, for so our rest is made complete, and we have already received what we give today.
Time is not the guardian of what we give today.
Time is not the guardian of what we give today.
We give to those unborn and those who passed by, to every thought of God and to the mind in which these thoughts were born and where they rest.
I give to those unborn and those who have passed away from this world, to every thought of perfect love and to the pure formless awareness in which these thoughts originate and where they rest.
And we remind them of their resting place each time we tell ourselves, I rest in God.
And I will remind them of their resting place each time I tell myself, I rest in perfect love. And from the top, I rest within the peace of perfect love today, quiet and unafraid. Everyone comes to rest and offer it to me. We rest together here, for so our rest is made complete, and we have already received what we give today. Time is not the guardian of what we give today. I give to those unborn and those who have passed away from this world, to every thought of perfect love and to the pure formless awareness in which these thoughts originate and where they rest. And I remind them of their resting place each time I tell myself, I rest in perfect love. So it's just, reminding us of resting in this perfect love and taking it beyond to all over the world, those that are unborn and those who passed away, and just every thought is of the perfect love, and these thoughts originate and where they meet, where they rest. So just to keep reminding yourself to rest in this perfect love.
Really, really simple lesson, but really profound. So remember, you can use any of these lessons at any point. Right? It's such a simple one. I rest in God. I rest in love. 4 words. No matter what's happening, you could remind yourself of that. So it doesn't matter that it's all kicking off and ego is trying to tempt me to get upset by whatever the appearance is. I rest in God. I rest in perfect love right now. And that's forgiveness. And you're not disturbed by the illusions. You remind yourself of the truth in the face of the temptation to not do that. That's what these lessons are designed to do, to help us face the temptation and let it go. And rest in God instead, rest in this perfect loving awareness. Okay. So it's not really an intellectual lesson, this one, isn't it? It's more just a lesson inviting us to go and experience this rest, this peace. Very practical. So let's do that in a meditation, shall we? All right. There's a summary, but I think let's given it's getting late, maybe just read the key message, just to summarize the whole thing.
Today I seek peace and rest by contemplating the thought, I rest in perfect love. This brings me tranquility, heals my suffering, and transforms my perceptions. I invite everyone to join me in this boundless peace, creating a complete and timeless sanctuary in which I rest with all my companions together in perfect loving awareness.
Yeah, so it's a nice just overall summary, right? It's just saying this is really all the lesson is about. So you could read that summary, you could read that in practicing the lesson if you've only got a minute or two. Or you could just read the summary. Personally, I actually prefer the lessons than the summary, but that may not be the case for everyone. Summary, because the summary is in sort of normal language, and the lessons have this lovely flow to them because of the iambic pentameter they're written in them. They just sort of work. And then I've kept the same sentence structure with the translations. But there's three versions, right? The original, the alternative, and then there's a summary version if you need it. I don't encourage you. If you do read it the first time, read the summary as well, because it just entrenches the lesson. But if you're actually practicing it, you might read the lesson itself because it's more poetic. And then, of course, you've got the audio recording, so you can just listen to the audio guiding you through it. All right, shall we do that now? I'll guide you through a meditation, and then we'll end the session there. Before we do that, any questions, comments on the lesson?
I know that's clear for me.
Yeah, I mean, simple stuff, really. What he's saying isn't rocket science, is it? It's not like, oh, okay, I can't understand this lesson. It's too complicated. I think anyone could understand it. It's just, will you do it? Can you actually rest in God in the face of the temptation not to, no matter what's triggering you? You know, that's the question.
Yeah.
You practice this and apply it, or not? Is it just going to be a nice theory? I rest in God. Yeah, says the ego. You rest in God. Like, how can I rest in God when there's so much chaos going on in my life and it's such a shit show? And oh my God. No, that's exactly when you need to apply the lesson. It's all kicking off, and the ego is trying to get you to go into the turmoil born of clashing dreams, and you go, no, I rest in God instead. I choose that instead. Because deep down in my mind, I know that's the only way out. That's the way out of all the pain, all the suffering, all the chaos of this world. And I choose it now, or I don't choose it at all. Right? You can't choose it in the future. It's now or never. So I apply it now, or I don't apply it at all. That's the teaching. Salvation is now. Awakening is right now. Now or never. So let's do it now. Let's go into.
Just sorry, I just wonder, like, okay, don't have to. I'm just thinking of it's like when you're in this lovely sleep and then you get this rude awakening, like that loud alarm clock of poof.
Yeah.
That ego with a vengeance,
Yeah.
It doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Or can you just stay in that rest in God?
Well, that's the test, yeah. Remember, the ego's mission is to disturb your peace and to make sure you don't. And it's going to do everything it possibly can to make sure you don't rest in God and justify its case and say, oh, you can't rest in God because look at all the terrible stuff that's happening in the world, and look at how terrible your life is, and look at all your problems, and this person's done this now. Rest in God, you got to be kidding me. No, there's no way you can rest in this place. But you will or you won't. You choose it or you don't. It's possible for anyone if you really want it, and you choose it and you're committed to it. That's what you're saying. But you've got to commit to it. You've got to say, above all else, I want this, right? Above all else, I want to see. One of the early lessons. Above all else. So I'm totally committed to this. There's nothing I want more than this rest and this peace of God. Because if there's something you want more, then you'll go for that, won't you? You'll choose that. So a really, really simple lesson expressed in 4 words. But if you actually applied this, it's absolutely life-changing. Because you would rest in this peaceful awareness no matter what. And that's what the enlightened beings throughout history have managed to achieve. Yeah, I just rest in God. And I'm not disturbed by all the illusory appearances. People go, oh, why are you so enlightened? You're a master. No, they just made a choice and they stuck to it. They said, no matter what, this is what I choose. because there really isn't any other way. Getting lost in the turmoil of the clashing dreams and the chaos of the ego is just recipe for ongoing pain and suffering and misery, ultimately death. So if I choose that, I'm choosing death and loads of suffering leading to death. So that's not a clever choice. And you realize that equation in the moment of temptation. And that's where the mind training kicks in. Okay, so it's all kicking off. The ego's tempting you. You're feeling that, in your case today, Elaine, grief. You said you had some drama going on at work, so some stress, some fear, frustration, maybe anger, all arising. And then you go, no, but I rest in God. I'm not going to allow that to enter my mind. I'm not going to allow my mind to go there and dwell on these thoughts and immerse myself in this false state of mind and being, because it's not serving me. So I rest in God instead. And that's the correction. That's the miracle. You've chosen to change your mind in the face of the temptation to get disturbed, to allow your peace to be upset. In some ways, this is the only lesson you need to learn. I rest in God. Well, that's the answer to everything, isn't it? Could say that of any lesson, but some lessons are particularly powerful, and this is one of them. Just to learn this lesson and apply it, and you're home, resting in God instead of in the turmoil and chaos of the ego. Okay, so let's do it. Kim, is that okay? Answer your question.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh. All right. Yeah, I mean, that's not an intellectual answer, is it? But it's the only answer there is. So it's just about applying it. Saying, yeah, okay, I just need to do this really. There's no other way.
Yeah.
No other way. Okay, something's gone wrong with us. So let's just record it from here. All right. So just making ourselves comfortable. Sitting with your feet shoulder width apart, your back straight. Cup your hands in your lap. Close your eyes. And start off with a nice deep breath in through the nose. And so you're breathing in and you're noticing how the stomach rises and the chest rises. You clench your sphincter muscle to lock the energy in. Draw the energy up your spine into your heart center. You can put one hand on your heart if you like. Just feel into your heart, bringing awareness into your breath, into your body, away from the mind. This is a way to quiet and still the mind. So breathing in, maximal inhale breath. Pause at the top of the inhale. And now just be aware of any thoughts going on. Particularly anything that's difficult, that's upsetting. Maybe you had some stuff happening today. So you can just revisit those thoughts, feel the emotions, and breathe into it again. Remind yourself that I rest in God. I rest in perfect love. Say that aloud to yourself. I rest in perfect love. I rest in this perfect loving awareness. So that means that all these thoughts, these emotions are dreams. None of them mean anything. I can let them go right now. When I say I rest in God, it means I have to let go of these illusions. So exhale, blow them out. Imagine you just letting them all go like dark clouds or black smoke. It's leaving you, it's going, gone. Pull the lower stomach into the spine. Expel the last remaining air out. Now rest in this perfect love. Paul says this is a day of peace. You rest in perfect love while the world is torn by winds of hate. The rest remains completely undisturbed. Say the rest of truth is mine. Appearances cannot disturb my peace. So breathe that peace in to every pore and every cell of your body, every part of your mind, every fiber of your being. Chooses the peace of perfect love, chooses to rest in God. And you call to everyone to join you in your rest. And they will hear and come to you. So they will hear and come to me because I rest in perfect love. They will not hear another voice than mine because I gave my voice to perfect love. And now I rest in it and let it speak through me. So it will express and extend through you. In words, perhaps, in actions, just in the quiet presence that goes with you. People start to recognize that. And those who are open to it will gravitate towards you, want to know what it is that you're doing, what is your secret. And then you can be a teacher to them, teacher of God, teacher of this perfect love, this rest that is there for everyone. If they choose it, you have to choose it. So in this pure formless awareness of perfect love, I have no cares, no concerns, no burdens, no anxiety, no pain, no fear of the future, no past regrets. I rest in the timeless now while time passes without touching me. For my rest can never change in any way at all. So I breathe in, breathe this rest in. Every pore and every cell, every muscle, my body, every part of my mind, every fiber of my being. I rest today. I rest in God. I rest in this peaceful awareness that is mine. As I close my eyes, sink into stillness at these periods of rest and respite. Reassure your mind that all its frantic fantasies are just dreams of fever that has passed away. Say, I let it be still and thankfully accept its healing. Now that I rest in perfect love, no more fearful dreams will come to me. I will take time today to slip away from dreams and into peace. I will take time today to slip away from dreams and into peace. Just let yourself slip away from all the dreams, born of clashing dreams, the turmoil, the chaos of the world, the conflicts, all the negativity, all the ego stories. Just turn on the news and you can see it all playing out. All of that, just slip away from it, let it all go. Slipping away from a nightmare of separation, a nightmare of sin and guilt and fear and attack, seemingly made real by the mind, but nevertheless still not real. You say, I rest in God. You affirm truth and you deny illusions. You slip away from dreams and into peace. When you do this, all the tired minds in the world are suddenly made happy. This heals the entire world. And it's just as a bird with broken wings begins to sing, and the stream long dry begins to flow again. The world is reborn or awakened. Each time you rest and remember hourly that you came to bring the peace of perfect love into the world, so it might rest along with me. And so just accept this invitation to rest. There's nothing to think about. There's nowhere to go. There's nothing else to do. It's an opportunity just to rest in the peace of this perfect loving awareness that is your true awareness. For the next couple of minutes of deep silence. So think nothing and just allow yourself to be in this rest, in the peace of perfect love that is your true nature, that is your true awareness, that has always been there but has been denied. Now you choose to accept it back into your mind, into your awareness, into your experience with the simple words, I rest in God, or I rest in perfect love. Say that to yourself. I rest in God, or rest in perfect love, whichever you prefer. And then just do it. Just rest in this pure awareness for a few minutes of deep, restful silence. Any thoughts come in to seemingly disturb this deep rest, just observe them pretty casually. Remind yourself that I rest in God, or I rest in this perfect, loving awareness. And these thoughts, these dreams mean nothing. You can safely let them go and return your mind to rest, sink into the rest. Breathe it into every pore, every cell, every muscle of your body, every part of your mind, and every fiber of your being. Just rest in this perfect loving awareness. I rest in perfect loving awareness. And with that affirmation, that intention, just allow yourself to do that, and then actually experience this perfect rest comes from God or loving awareness. Just feel it, experience it. Nothing else to do, nowhere else to go. Really nothing else to think about. Just breathe, relax, and be still and rest in God, rest in this awareness. For another couple of minutes of deep silence. So just gently coming back from this deep restful state, and you can just bring your awareness gently back into the body via the breath and the senses. So on the count of one, just breathing in, noticing how the stomach rises and the chest rises, and subtle flow of air into the nostrils. And you pause at the top of the inhale. Smile, scan your mind. Once again, notice any thoughts, any emotions going on. Particularly anything that feels at all negative, limiting, contracted, constricting. And just breathe in the peace of God, peace of perfect love to every pore, every cell, every muscle of your body, part of your mind, every fiber of your being. Exhale, just release these negative thoughts that negate this peaceful awareness. Blow them away with the breeze of your breath. To the nothingness that they really are. They're going, gone. Pull the lower stomach into the spine. Expel the last remaining air out, and just rest in this peace of perfect love. Rest in peaceful awareness. Nothing else to go, nothing else to do. Rest in God. Do this moment by moment. Living in this state moment by moment is the awakened or enlightened state. Just set the intention to stay here in this awakened state moment by moment for the rest of the evening on into tomorrow. Count of 2, you're just going to notice the weight of your body pressing down into the chair and your feet touching the ground, and notice what you're feeling with your hands. Maybe there's a subtle flow of air on your skin. Breathe the air in. Notice any smell in your nose as you do that. Maybe there's a subtle taste in your mouth. Notice that. Notice what you're hearing in the surrounding environment. Just noticing all these things from this very still, calm, and surrendered state. State of mind without illusions, showing you the truth is true. So set the intention to stay in this restful state, stay in the peace of God. So it passes all understanding, rest in God no matter what. So it is said, so it is done. Amen, which means so be it. And on the count of 3, open your eyes. So just taking a moment to look around. Just looking around, noticing the room, noticing all these objects in the room around you. In this very, very peaceful, restful state. Nothing else to go, nothing else to do, just stay in that rest. The rest of the evening, let that carry you off to bed and continue on with you when you wake up in the morning. So tomorrow is a very peaceful day. You do that every day, then every day can be a day dedicated to resting in God, which is what I wish for you. So that brings us to the end of the meditation and of tonight's session.
Thanks, Jono. I'm gonna thank you very much. It's a great session.
Yeah.
Namaste.
Yeah, good. Thanks for joining, Kim.
Thank you, Jono.
I'll see you in the week next week. Have a good
Okay.
have a good weekend in the meantime, and yeah, bear in mind you have a coaching session in, right? One-on-one. So if you want to use it, just let me know.
Yeah. Right. At some point, yes.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh, sounds right. So.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Jono.
Okay.
All right. Namaste. Good
Well,
night.
bye.
Okay. You too. Okay. Okay. Bye.
Okay, so that is a wrap for today. Thank you to Kim and Elaine for joining. If you enjoyed the session, then by all means subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done that. I go live at the moment once or twice a week, but that is going to increase back up to 5 days a week. Lots of things are going to be happening in the next few months. So subscribe to the channel, you'll be notified of all of them. Whenever I share a new video, YouTube will notify you. You can watch it on live stream or the recording. You can also go to lifebuild.com. You can see that in the background. Just go to lifebuild.com. You can see the spelling of that. I'll put the link below in the comments box of this YouTube video, and you can sign up to receive a daily Telegram message, which includes the quote that you saw, a quote like that, my comments on it, kind of blog posts, and then usually some other resources like a free talk, recordings of previous discussions that we've had, and then the daily lesson for the day from Course in Miracles in its original translated form, as well as invitations to join these live sessions. You can get access to the live calls on Zoom. I'll send you that link. So all available at lifebuild.com, completely free. Yeah, join that group, and I look forward to seeing you soon, I hope, in one of these calls or in the group. So that's it for tonight. Thanks for listening or watching, and namaste. This means the peace in me acknowledges and honors that same deep peace in me. Peace.